On this edition of City Profile, we'll be taking a look back at 2013 and looking forward to 2014 with Mayor Gayle Kaler. Stay with us. Hello and welcome to City Profile. I'm Tom Butler, and today on the show is Mayor Gayle Kaler. Thanks for coming back and being on the show today.
Thank you for asking me.
I'm always glad to have you on City Profile because I learned so much about what's going on in the city, and recently you have been reporting to groups and organizations. I like to call it, and maybe you call it, the State of the City Address.
Yes.
And so that's why you're here today, is to tell all our viewers and me what's been going on, what happened in 2013, are things going well, and then what we look forward to coming up in the future. So what about 2013? We had some significant anniversaries.
We did.
Tell me about them.
Well, this is the 30th anniversary of the quilt show. Hard to believe.
When I read that today, I just thought, that can't be. I mean, it seems like maybe 10 years.
So it's really exciting, to be part of that, and the fact that the quilt show literally put Paducah on the map. It truly did. And to see where they started and where they are now, with people that visit from all over the world, and the Quilt Museum downtown, the number of visitors that they have every month from all over the world. Wow,
that's really something. And you know, we've gone through some issues with the show because of the executive end problems that we have encountered, and Paducah was able to work through those and keep that quilt show coming in, which is a big coup for us.
We have. We're able to use the pavilion again this year, so we've gotten our money's worth on that purchase. It's served us well. This will be the last year for the pavilion because we will be starting on a new hotel in that spot for actually it won't be occupied until 2015, but we'll get started on that. It'll take that long to get it built.
I tried to get the scoop on the hotel from you and Pam Spencer this morning, and you won't give it up. I really wanted to scoop everybody.
We don't want to steal their glory on having that announcement. The flag for the hotel, it's very important for those folks to be able to make that announcement. So we're going to have several announcements, several things going on with the hotel. We'll have a groundbreaking hopefully right after the quilt show, within a month or so after the quilt show. And then we'll have the design of the hotel. They're working on that now. They have a group that's working on the design for the hotel. So we'll be able to unveil that, and then we'll have the naming, telling the name of the hotel. So it's a lot of good, exciting things coming along with that.
So we're all committed. There's going to be a hotel downtown.
Yes, the appraisal is completed, and it actually appraised for more than what they're investing in it. So that's extremely good news, and it makes not only the hotel developers but the bankers feel really good about that project.
Good. Is it on the inside or the outside of the flood wall?
I call it on the dry side of the flood wall.
Okay. I think that's a good
It'll be
thing.
right where the pavilion sits.
Can you tell us how many rooms?
I believe it's 120.
And so that's a good sized hotel, and we're looking forward to that. This has been a project that's been going on. I know you've worked on it as commissioner and now as mayor, so it looks like we're
glad to see. It takes a lot of people working together to make a big project like this happen, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's the accumulation of a lot of folks in the past. Mayor Paxton worked hard on this as well, so it's good to have it going.
Another significant anniversary is the Dogwood Trail is having an anniversary this year.
The 50th anniversary of the Dogwood Trail, and I believe that started with Mayor Dolly McNutt. And they wanted to start a dogwood trail to showcase Paducah and to increase tourism. And it has certainly done that, and it just makes people proud in the community. It's a sense of community pride. We've had the addition of a lot of dogwood trees on Jefferson Street. The Garden Club Paducah Garden Club was instrumental in making that happen. They planted a lot of trees as well as dogwoods along there, so
It's just
it'll
so
be pretty this
Yeah,
year.
it's just so pretty that time of year. I love driving downtown and seeing all those, and even at night they're all lit up, and it looks really neat. Do you know if there are any special events commemorating the 50th anniversary?
They have lots of things planned. As a matter of fact, I'm meeting with Dabney Haw this afternoon to go over some of those plans that they have. So a lot coming on.
A lot of things. I think that maybe one of the more significant things that happens was the Creative Cities Award. Would you tell our audience what it is? I know that you've been out there promoting this, but there may be some that don't understand what it is and what it really means to Paducah.
UNESCO is a division of the United Nations, and UNESCO works to promote cultural exchanges between cities around the world. And they have different areas that you can apply for. We applied for folk art and crafts. We were one of many in South Korea when we went over for the conference. Rosemarie Steele, Mary Hammonds, and I went. Rosemarie and Mary did all the heavy lifting on that. They did the whole application. I was the window dressing, so to speak, because with UNESCO, mayors are a very important part of that. The mayor writes the letters, and I have recently written several letters to other cities that are applying for this coming year. But Mary and Rosemarie did all that application, and quilting was the big part of it with the folk art and craft. Mary did an excellent job in South Korea making that presentation. When we got back, we weren't sure when that would happen because some of the funding had been cut for UNESCO. So we were elated when we received the news this year that we had been selected as one of 3 cities in the United States and one of 41 in the whole world.
Wow, that's quite a distinction for our city.
So, you know, it's monetarily, how much will it bring us? You know, you never know, but it's an exchange. It's like the folks that come over here with the quilt show, the exchange of artists that we have with the with PAA and the workshops that they do here. We just recently had a lady from Austria that spent a week with us here doing a workshop with PAA. So, you know, all of those increase the knowledge throughout the world that Paducah is a creative city, that we're a city of arts.
And it kind of justifies the trip, because you did receive some criticism in the media for going to South Korea from little old Paducah, Kentucky, and
yeah, it was actually pretty rough, you know, the criticism that we received. But I think you know, to me, it proves that it was worth the trip. We accomplished what we set out to do, and it'll be a big payback for Paducah.
yeah. So I think that it worked out good for you, especially it's anytime we can be recognized with the names that are associated with this award. I think it's
right up there
it's
with
really good
Paris, France, and all of the big cities in Europe and Asia.
And who did we beat? You told me a couple of cities that we were awarded over.
New Orleans was one of them.
So that seems significant,
Yeah.
because you think of New Orleans as being an art type of
I
city.
believe they applied for the gastronomy.
I don't even know what that is.
Food.
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 Yeah, that's
There are several categories that you can apply for. Media is one of them.
So 2013 had a lot of good things happening. Before we move on, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on significantly that happened in that 2013?
As far as anniversaries, there's one more. Baptist Health had their 60th anniversary in Paducah, and of course our medical centers here in Paducah employ the largest majority of our workers. So, you know, it's good to have them here that many years and to have them still being a strong presence in the community.
I saw a picture of, I believe it was their grand opening, must have been 60 years ago now, and it was interesting to look at the people, and everybody was dressed up in suits and dresses and those kind of things, and so 60 years is a good record, and I know that the medical community is an important part of our economy here in town, so that's certainly a significant anniversary. you have some initiatives that you have been working on for, well, since you've been mayor. You want to talk about some of those?
Well, it's a strange time. When I first came, started my year as mayor, I'd go into the office and it seemed a little slow, so I thought,
I bet your staff isn't thinking that.
So I thought, I really wanted to get some things done. So I started the Mayor's Art Club. Once again, we're a city of art, and I wanted folks in the community to have the opportunity to come to the mayor's office for something other than business. I wanted them to be welcome at City Hall. It's a place that you can come and enjoy the art of our community. So we have 2 artists that are selected per quarter, and they have to be residents of McCracken County. It was very successful last year, so we're doing it again this year, and the first quarter is Bill Ford, thrilled to have his work there, and Mary Ruth Maggard, Tutu is her nickname. So we have all of the artists for this year, and I just want to invite all the people out there in the community to be sure to come down. You can just come in and walk through and enjoy the art.
Is it in your office area, or is it spread around
It's in
City
the
Hall?
outer and inner office.
And do you find that that's drawing people down to just come and look at the art?
I think it's an education, to get people to understand that they don't be intimidated by coming in. You can just come in and look around.
So it'd be okay if, I wanted to come up
Sure.
and just check out your office and look at the art.
Absolutely.
That would be good. So we encourage you to do that. If you're a fan of art, then it's another place to go and see some of our local artists and their work. And you have a book club that goes along with that? Or
We
is that
do. I did the
separate?
Mayor's Book Club, and we have a lot of that in Paducah right now. We have several different groups that do the book clubs, but I wanted it to be geared more toward children. Because I think, getting children to buy in to their community early on maybe helps with them coming back to their community when they graduate from college.
I'm also afraid that reading books is kind of becoming a lost art with all the online content and Kindles and iPads and things like that. There's still nothing like holding that book.
No, there isn't.
And the electronic devices just don't do it for me. I know I'm an old guy, but they just don't do it for me. And so,
well, I think they have their place.
Sure.
There are times that it's easier to do that, but I think it is important to hold that book and to read it. And so the first book I did was P is for Paducah, and we had a good turnout for that. I had all the kids down to City Hall. I've done one at the Railroad Museum, and that was about Oni the male pouch dog, and that was a true story of a real dog that had an amazing life.
really,
Yeah, he rode the trains all over the country, and everybody knew him, every town that he stopped in, and he got medals every time he stopped in a town, and he got so many that they had to make a special harness for him.
oh my
And
goodness.
we did an adoption day for dogs that day, so we had the McCracken County Animal Shelter and the Humane Society there, and we were able to adopt 3 dogs.
Great.
So it's another way to engage citizens with city government, and I think that's one of the things I wanted to do as mayor. Is we're citizen friendly. We want you to be part of your community and part of your government.
Another way that you did that was with your anti-bullying task force?
Yes, we did a proclamation, an anti-bullying proclamation, and I appointed a task force, and we meet monthly. This next meeting we're having is at Murray State on March the 4th. Don't hold me to that date, it's on Tuesday. And they're doing a special program at Murray State on bullying. So we're going to be there and participate in that and answer questions.
Well, if people see this after March the 4th, then they'll know that
Right,
meeting
it's already
has
happened.
already happened, and if they want to be a part of this
Yes.
or have suggestions, do they contact you, or is there a chairperson that they should contact? How does that
They
work?
can contact Lindsay Parrish at City Hall. She's my administrative assistant. And we do have some people out there that have, when I'm out in the public, they'll say, I'd like to be part of this, but I can't keep all of that in my head. So if there's anyone out there that I have missed, I know there's a couple of people, please call and get your name with Lindsay.
I know this has been a big topic, and it's has been brought into even more of a spotlight recently with one of the professional football players saying he was bullied. And that seems almost impossible that a big guy like that, you know, could be. What do you hope to accomplish in the end with your task force?
Don't you think all of us at some time in our school life was probably bullied?
Maybe.
You know, maybe we didn't call it that back then when you and I went to school, but I think love and forgiveness are the two most important things, and those need to be taught even more than they are today, because you can't forgive someone if you don't love them. And you know, anti-bullying is not, it's not just about don't do this, you know, take an oath and don't do this. You've got to really love your fellow man, and you've got to teach that to your children.
Well, it's a lofty goal. Good luck with that.
Well,
you know, it's a tough one though, because the bullies are doing it because they have certain needs of their own that seem to not be being met, and so
I don't think they feel loved.
Could be. Let's get on to something more fun. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I love your initiative, but it's a tough one. The next thing I see on our list that I'm sure folks are wondering about is the Ohio River launch and the construction going on down at the riverfront.
Yes, the boat launch is completed. We have a catfish tournament coming up the end of the week, I believe. I think it's about 80 entrants to that. So we have parking for 80 boats and trucks or whatever they pull them with. I guess most of those big fishing boats are pulled with trucks. So we have 80 parking spaces. It's a lovely ramp to put your boat in the water. It has a courtesy dock. And we're going to have the ribbon cutting on that this spring. We haven't been able to do that yet. When we planned it, we had it snow. We've had a lot of that this year.
We have.
So, and the Greenway Trail will be completed this spring as well. So we hope to have the ribbon cutting of the boat launch and then ribbon cutting for the Greenway Trail. And the Greenway Trail goes right by the boat launch. So if you're out on the Greenway Trail, you can always take your bike down to the river. It's a beautiful view of the river as well.
One of my colleagues here, Dan Shepard, really loves the Greenway Trail and can't wait for it to get all finished, because he bikes on it and really likes it, and I think it's a great thing too. Are you finding that more and more people are starting to use that?
Yes, they are, and you know, we'll be finishing that underpass under Highway 45 this spring. So.
And that will make how many miles of trail?
I was afraid you'd ask me that.
I'm sorry, a lot. a good ride or an excellent walk or run.
Especially if you do it over and back.
Yes. What else is going to be happening? I know that we had some construction on the riverfront last year. There's a hold, is that correct, on that at this point before we go forward with the fill and do more stuff, or can you tell us an
Well,
update
Paducah
on what's
Riverfront
happening?
Development Authority, that board has that right now. They're poring over all of the numbers for it, and they've come up with some good savings on it. It's been good to have them take a look at it, step back and let them take a look at it. They've done their due diligence on that. They should be bringing a recommendation to us within a month or so. But we have a couple of grants that have to be used this spring, so we don't lose that money. So, you know, time is of the essence, and of course you've always got the river. How much flooding will we have? How much snow will melt? When can we proceed on that work? So
it's still in the works.
yes,
And should be seeing some movement. Well, we will be seeing some movement because of the grant
this spring.
restrictions this spring, and then you'll be getting some recommendations from the
yes.
PRDA for doing that. Okay, we only have about 10 minutes left, so I know that as mayor, part of your priorities include the economic development of the city. We've already talked about the hotel, but we didn't say how much that was going to aid the economic development of the city. I mean, just the construction alone puts dollars into the
It
economy.
does. And the tourism dollars that it will create and the number of people that it will bring downtown and the businesses, the spin-offs from the businesses, and the money that they will receive from those tourism dollars, and folks being downtown, more conventions, just more things going on downtown, which will encourage more people other than what we already have that are working on projects downtown. John and Carla Berry will have their project completed this summer. It's a beautiful Hank Brothers Hardware. They'll be living upstairs, and they have the 2 downstairs spaces, first floor, rented.
Ah.
So it'll be more businesses down there. And we have the project on the corner of the old Senate Hotel. So that will be, they'll be moving in there soon. And that is McMurray and Livingston, that group. So it's good to have that building, the work done on it, and have them in that vital location. The building next door to it had some problems with the roof, so they're continuing to rehab that as well.
You've been talking, I've been reading about some of the commission that about the possibility of creating some kind of help for business owners downtown or building owners.
The roof replacement program we implemented, because the biggest danger for any old building is a leaking roof. So we've done that. We've had 2. Well, the man that bought the hardware building, he's using that money for that roof because they did have a complete collapse of that roof. That's what happened with the Kresge's building.
Right. A lot of those roofs are flat.
Right.
And so they don't drain well, and the weight and the age and stuff, I guess, causes a rotting, and so the city is helping with that.
To save the building, you have to put a new roof on it. That has to be done.
Another thing that I feel like I have to say something about because I work at the college is the art school, the Kitchens building. I know that there is movement toward renovating that building, and the whole area is starting to come together, and I know that that's a partnership between the city and the college in effort to enhance economic development and just the look of the area.
Well, you know, it's been several years since the city purchased the Kitchens building and donated that to the college. That was our top priority when we went to Frankfurt last week, to have the ability to use the bonding capabilities. They don't have to give us any money. They just have to say, you have the capability to bond this money. So that was our #1 priority. And you know, it's a public-private partnership with the community raising $2 million to make that $8 million project work.
I know it's a big project, and I know that there's already been a lot of work going in down there, and I've heard some of the pitches that say that, you know, it will increase the property values in the area, that it will beautify a corridor downtown that could use a little bit of help looking nice, and so that sounds like a pretty big deal.
It is. It means a lot to us.
What else? I'm seeing one of your bullet points is the Superior Care Facility. What's going on with that? I haven't heard about that.
Superior Care has been on Clay Street near 32nd for many years, and they wanted to do a major expansion. So they chose property out at the Commerce Park, and so we were able to make that deal happen. They will add about 50 new employees when they move out there. It will also have facilities for long-term care of people with Alzheimer's, which is desperately needed, of course. So, you know, it's good to have them move out there with a new facility, add more employees to the city of Paducah. We have the Teletech building that's near completion out there that will add 300 jobs in Commerce Park. And then we have the old Chamber building downtown that was going to be renovated soon for an additional 300 jobs there. Maco out at the Industrial Park will be finished this year, and that will employ about 50 people. And of course, Whitehall is completed, and they really already need to expand some more and hire some more people. And those are good paying jobs. So, you know, it's good to have Chad Chancellor with PED on our side. He's really working hard. He's got some other opportunities on the lines, so hopefully he can reel those in too, which would employ a lot more people, and we need those jobs, along with the company GLE that's moving to the DOE in front of the DOE property. So, you know, we're working hard on that to get a land transfer done and make that a done deal. So,
most of us out in the community just really have no idea what's going on in City Hall a lot. And I'm just looking down this list. We only have about 3 minutes left. You're reorganizing Main Street. You're working on the Riverfront project that we talked about. Renaissance Area Master Plan.
the ramp.
Ramp.
And that's that was with City Visions. We hired that a couple of years ago. The first portion of that is a traffic control study. So I believe that's completed, but that'll be the first element of it. Signage is part of that for connectivity between downtown and Lower Town. We've got some new people moving into Lower Town. It's really exciting.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
Yes, we've got 3 or 4 new ones. We've got a daycare center that's moving in on Madison Street. Carol Fallert, unfortunately, is leaving Paducah. She's the rock star of quilting, and we really hate to see her leave. But a lovely couple are in the process of buying her house. So we've got 3 new structures going up in Lower Town. Fountain Avenue is a huge success. The couple that's buying Carol's house, and they're in the quilting business too, their son and daughter-in-law is looking at property in Fountain Avenue. So, you know, that's the synergy that the arts community creates, and that's where the UNESCO Creative Cities
John Walker,
helps to
who's
create that.
behind camera right now, just bought a house in the Fountain Avenue project. So that's pretty cool. We have about 1 or 2 minutes left. I know that you have a new police chief because I interviewed him recently. Seems like a really good fit for the position.
He
and
is
a nice young man.
He's an excellent, will make us an excellent police chief.
So with our last 2 minutes, what else do you want to tell the folks about what's going on in Paducah and what your vision is for the next year?
Well, you know, these are challenging times financially, not only for the city, but for the state, for the federal government. So you have to make every dollar count. And I think that's our biggest challenge, to provide as much as we can for the citizens of Paducah with the least amount of money. We have a great city manager. He helps us with that.
Well, I think that sounds like a good last word. Provide the most amount of services for the least amount of dollars that we can. Sounds like a good way to end this city profile. I'd like to thank Mayor Gayle Kaler for being with me here today on City Profile, and thank you for watching. I'm Tom Butler. Join us again next time. Thank you.